Good afternoon. Welcome back to Passionate World Talk Radio. Educate, enlighten, entertain. And now, on Cool Your Heels with Lillian Caldwell and our co-host Michael Hurton, we have with us Brian Williams, who's the COO of the Los Angeles Urban League, and Dr. Theresa Price from the Black College Expo. Thank you. Bad memory here. And today, Brian Williams and Theresa will be talking about the virtual graduation of high school Black students from the virtual community of graduation, which is different from all the other years that they have done it. So good afternoon. Welcome both to you.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Could you please tell our listeners why you decided to do this for this year specifically?
Well, for us, we National College Resources Foundation is a nonprofit. Black College Expo is one of our programs where we host Black College Expo around the country. We have about 5 years ago, actually, we were in a district that we work in, and the Black students, we met with about 150 of them, and they shared that they felt totally disconnected from the system. They felt like no one cared about them. They felt like they weren't included. So we knew, it's like, what do we do? What do we do? So we actually thought about we started like the Black Student Union kind of thing, and then to give them a sense of belongingness, a sense of inclusion. And then for the graduation, we said, let's put together a rites of passage, which is a celebration. It's a cultural celebration to celebrate one person's journey from one transition to the next phase. So we did that 5 years ago, and every year we've been doing in this district, every year in Linwood, we've been doing it every year. And then we actually just started it in San Diego last year. So when it came for this year, I started getting calls like in April, like, okay, what's going on? Because all of these kids, they've been waiting. Okay, it's my turn, And they have been talking about it all year, and it's like, and then my peer advisor started calling the student. Everybody's asking, and the kids started calling, Miss Price, Dr. Price, what are you gonna do? What you gonna do? And so at the same time, thanks to Michael Lawson and Brian Williams, they, their team, they said, hey, we want to do something. And it's like just a perfect marriage. They care about the community like we care about the community. They were planning something too. And it was just like two great organizations that really care about the community, that uplift, empower, build, unite, excite, and build. Yeah. Why not come together and let's make this happen and elevate and empower and celebrate what it's like to complete a journey, one of your journeys, right? There's many of them. And so that's what this is all about. It's a day of celebration. It's a day of cultural enrichment, heritage, legacy, historical, just, coming together, unity. Everybody can come and watch this. It doesn't have to be just everybody can watch it, This is it's a positive.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about. It's something positive.
I think it's so cool that you all were able to pull this off, with the limited time that you have, and to be able to do it in such uncertain times. It kind of goes to show the kids who now have to deal with these same uncertainties, that they can deal with the adversity. So you're kind of leading through example by accomplishing this. Now, I'm not going to date myself by telling you how long ago I was in high school and whatnot, but I remember to this day, like the feeling building up to graduation. It's an anxiety, it's an accomplishment, and you all are able to take care of that for so many different students. And the fact that you're doing it virtually gives everybody a chance to come together.
Well, that really is a great secret lining, Michael. The fact is that, the LA Urban League, our typical service focus is Southern California, and specifically the neighborhoods of South Los Angeles that are full of, young, bright kids who have bright futures, but just need opportunities. So this was a great chance to, both make this an expression of love and support and actually what I call protection, for these young people who are graduating into this uncertain time. But being virtual, to your point, is that in addition to serving the people that we work with here every day in Los Angeles, so we can now expand the audience nationwide. So we currently have about students representing more than 40 states that are going to be part of this celebration on Friday.
Exactly, because when you look at some of these other areas that aren't as progressive, as you all, they still want to be included. And it's a virtual world that we have now. A lot of meetings being done on Zoom, interviews being done on Zoom. So let me ask you this: what do you think about students who want to take a gap year just because of the uncertainty? Like, both of you all have good education backgrounds. What could you suggest to these students? Like, what do you think they should do, and what factors should they weigh, pros and cons?
Well, I'll start with a couple of personal examples. In my own household, I have two stepsons who are graduating this year from high school.
Yeah.
And both of them got into fantastic colleges, their first schools of their choice. But unfortunately, those schools are faced with the same uncertainty everybody else is. So one of the schools told my stepson that they had to make a decision by June 1st if they were going to accept the offer for admission or defer.
Yeah.
And the other school said, okay, we'll give you until July 1st. So, it's a tough decision because, of course, kids graduate and they expect to go off to their school of choice and have a traditional college experience. And that's just impossible in the fall of 2020, looks like.
Yeah.
So both of them have made the very hard decision to take a gap year, to your point.
Yeah.
And I think the same is true for them as with members of our audience and their families. I think the young people should think about ways they can actually do a combination of things. They can be of service to the community. They can learn some non-traditional things that they wouldn't otherwise learn in a first year of a traditional college. They can do volunteer activities, or they can get work experience, and they can get experience in the real world. So the last thing I'll say about that is that it's a terrible time for America, but it's really also a chance for a reset.
Yeah.
That all the broken systems, the trickle up economics, the voter suppression, and also the legacy of young people's apathy. I think that apathy is gone now. So it's really an opportunity for young people who are coming out of high school, turning 18, to get registered to vote and to make a difference in that way, and to get involved both with grassroots efforts to help political candidates who will support the person's agenda, and really to make a difference in the world. But it's not going to be easy. The job situation is tough. Families, lifelines, or mode of living is in danger. With all the job losses and insecurity that way. But it's a chance for a reset, and so we're encouraging young people to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Have any of the kids maybe? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, when I look at all the kids that we deal with, and we deal with a lot of them, and when I look at the situation, a lot of our kids are homeless, foster. We have more than you know.
Yeah.
So when you say, if you have a good, strong foundation or whatever behind you, yes, but I could tell you about 85% of the ones I see, either single parent, homeless, or foster, one or the other. And with that, I don't want to see gaps. The reason being, 90% of the jobs are going to require some college. There's so many, everything is virtual. It's not going to change. It is what it is. It is the new normal. So in that, find your place in the virtual. Go to school wherever maybe you're not going away to school. Maybe that might be. We did a survey, and only 35% of the students we surveyed, it was about 3,300 students. Only 35% of them said that their college decision was impacted by COVID. Now, 65% said they were still doing what they were going to do. So I look at it as, when I look at things that count our students out, I look at where it's going. They're not competing against locally. They're not competing nationally. They're competing globally, which means you have to feed your brain. You have to get as much education you can. Don't stop at an associate. Don't stop at a bachelor's. Don't stop at a master's. If you can get your doctorate, get your doctorate. If you can be a specialist, be a specialist. Because everything is going to a technology world. And when you look at the statistics, 5,000. We're over 5,000 in unfilled jobs. Over 5 million. I'm sorry, not 5,000. Over 5 million jobs in the science, technology, engineering, and math fields are not being filled because it's not. America is not producing enough of us. Education system is not producing enough people to fill those jobs. So there's a huge gap. You take that same gap, now that's of all people. You take that same gap and you put it to people of color, it's going to be wider. You take that same gap and say, Black people, wider.
Indeed.
Black males, wider. So for me, I see it every day. I'm very passionate about telling our young people to feed their brain. Okay, if you take, I don't want to call it a gap year. We're not going to call it that. We're going to say, if you're not going physically to school, then take some online classes to feed this. Take some online classes to feed what your passion is. I agree you need to do what your passion is. Whatever you love doing, you're usually going to be good at doing that. Whether it's with your hands, with your mind, picking stuff apart, putting it back together. But we have to understand the state that we're in. Our young people are not prepared for the jobs that are there, and we're not going into those jobs. So we have to change the mindset and the trajectory of our young people, because that's what you got to know to run for office. How many people say, I want to run for office? How many people say, I want to change policy? I want to, write laws. They don't know about that. So we have to teach them. We have to share, and we have to engage them in that conversation.
Yeah.
So we have to be, if we're going to count and have a seat at the table, you better have the degrees to do that. You better have the schooling to do that. You better have the knowledge to do that. You better have the heart to do that. Because it's not easy as we see what's going on. I call it COVID and confusion. That's what we're seeing right now. And people are tired. And the best way is to education, because you're going to learn and you're going to know to strategize and you're going to know when not to fall for the okie doke. So if we don't do nothing else, all of us right here, we better start with education and empowerment, because that's what's going to help them get. And entrepreneurship, don't let me stop there. We got to own. We got to own. Because if you own, you can hire.
Yeah.
You can close gaps. We got an achievement gap. We got a workforce gap. We got an economic disparities gap. Don't get me started, you guys. I see it every day.
Oh,
I was on the phone, so I'm preaching.
Yeah.
We gotta change the trajectory. Our kids don't know how great they are. We have to change the mindset. It starts here and here.
Yeah. So instead of a gap year, I guess it's safe to call it a transition year.
Okay, I live with that.
Transition
Take that gap
year.
year out. You gotta tell them, feed the brain at all times. At all times. That's like saying don't work out. Come on.
Yeah.
Now.
Indeed.
Is it possible for either? Is it possible for either you or the Urban League to maybe contact companies and to find out what is available for these kids, if nothing else, to get in there and either do temporary work or internships within those companies to start picking up the experience so they can start aligning it with the education and the knowledge that they have from school?
Absolutely right. What the Urban League's stock and trade is for many decades now. The LA Urban League is almost 100 years old, and our bread and butter for all those years has been workforce development training and connecting young people and young adults, especially, as Dr. Price said, young people who come from very challenged backgrounds, who've been in the foster system or been touched by the justice system. It's very, very important to get those people opportunities. So I was on the phone just this morning with a very important sponsor that's initiating a brand new effort to bring in interns, resulting from this combination, kind of perfect storm of crises, both the COVID crisis followed by the justice crisis.
And I know,
absolutely.
And I know Dr. Price was just talking about entrepreneurship, and I see that you were in brand management with Procter & Gamble, and you preach business. I see that you all have a few different programs, like the Builders Program for people who want to, get into different trades. I'm a licensed electrician as well. That helped me stabilize my life, so I'm definitely proud of that. but also I see that you all do a lot with these business incubators. And what can you speak about entrepreneurship? What recommendations do you have to kids?
Sure. So, well, I'll say two or three things about that. One is that business is the lifeblood of America. Most people in America work for small companies with fewer than 500 employees. Having said that, most Black-owned businesses, Black men owned by Black men, Black women, tend to be very, very small, almost micro businesses. Either they're sole proprietorships or they have one or two or a few employees. The beauty of Black entrepreneurship, though, there's so many benefits to it. One is that it keeps Black dollars in Black communities. All right, so we all know the importance of that. The other thing, though, is that Black business owners are also more likely to hire within the community and also more likely to give people a chance who need one. Like I mentioned, the people coming out of the foster care system or people coming out of prison. Those people are likely to be employed by small and Black-owned companies. And when it comes to economic empowerment, which is the mission of the Urban League, ownership is key. Ownership of the place where you live, as opposed to paying rent, is critical. But ownership of business is also critical. When you're a business person, the sky is the limit, and that's what we tell young people. The sky is the limit in terms of how much you earn, based on how how well trained you are, how aggressive you are, how hungry you are to make your business work. So organizations like ours, the Urban League, and by the way, there are 90 Urban League affiliates in major cities around the country. The mission of the Urban League is to help people get access to the knowledge required to start a company in the right way, to do their accounting in the right way, to help develop their marketing plans. And importantly, during this period, we're also helping entrepreneurs to pivot their companies at brick and mortar or traditional company operations. We're helping to pivot toward online models, to e-commerce, or finding ways to make their business more online friendly and or contactless. So that's a lot of what we're doing. We're also helping entrepreneurs get access to the wide range and the ever-changing menu of loans and grants coming from the government, coming from private entities, and things like that. So business is at the core of our mission. The last thing I'll say about entrepreneurship is it's important to get young people involved. I happen to grow up in an entrepreneurial company. My parents started a company back in the 60s, back when there was segregation in Kansas City, where I'm from. And me and my 7 siblings all grew up working in that company. And so our conversations around the dinner table at night were all about business. So we grew up knowing the value of hard work, kind of what's required to start from scratch and build up something. And we're trying to convey that to young people. So to the extent that we can do that, we have a summer program called Biz Camp. The transition from being an in-person program for the last 15 years to this year for the first time being an online program. So yeah, whatever kids can do to get their feet in the water, start a small company, explore online marketing, digital marketing. We're here to help with that, and there's so many resources now where young people can start from very few resources and develop a little business of their own that helps give them a feeling of accomplishment and the idea that they can be the change agents in their own life, tap and make their own money and call their own shots. And that's a great message for kids.
Yeah, so I seen on the site that you all were talking about networking and stuff like that. So I'm wondering, Dr. Price, how did you all link up? Like, how long have you all been able to come together to make things happen? Because networking is one thing that I'm worried about now that the social isolation is going on and the social distancing. How can kids still network? Like, how did you all meet?
Well, actually, I had a friend call me about the new president of the Urban League and said, you have to meet him. This is a great guy. And I met Fawcett, maybe it's been about 3 years ago now.
About 2.5, almost 3 years ago.
Yeah, him and I met downtown for a 30-minute, maybe hour conversation. We ended up speaking for about almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
Down there, just passionate about just everything, just change and things that can be done in his background. And then we had another meeting and Brian joined us in that meeting. I think we spent another 2 or 3 hours in that meeting. But I knew then that, you have an organization, and there's organizations all over. But it's just like a football team or any sports team. That leader is very crucial and very important. The heart of that person, that means more than anything. And it was his heart and their heart made me say, I want to work with them because they really care about the community. And that's the difference to me. It's just the teams that win, you could have the greatest talent in the world on your teams, but if the leadership isn't right, you're not going to win that Super Bowl or that, you know. And I really feel that the leadership that they have at the Urban League, their hearts about the community. I love the fact of right now, as I mentioned earlier, you have to be a specialist in something. And that's what I love about what the community colleges are becoming, are more vocational schools, and the Urban League has always been about the specialists that get a certification. And that is so important to our community. And in the entrepreneurship, I mean, that's just vital. We got to have that. And I'll tell you a fact, 72% of college students want to be entrepreneurs. So, you know, there's a lot of, that's a lot. 72% of college students want to be entrepreneurs. But a lot of our students need to have that. Where do I go to get that guidance? Where do I go? A lot of people say they want to own businesses. And it's testing real. Trust me, we all know. I'm a bit, it's a lot of work. But, you know, to have a company like the Urban League, and, you know, we try to partner with them even with that. And then we have our entrepreneur like initiative, just trying to make sure. We've had Yo-Yo, hip hop artist Yo-Yo teach, you know, how to start a business, as well as our HBCU startups partner. But it's like, it's all of that. People need to know what are the steps to starting a business. So when you have companies like, or organizations, nonprofits like Urban League and our organization, and we come together, just imagine. Can you just imagine the power?
Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah,
So
well, well, I was just going to say quickly that, you know, Michael Lawson, our president, and I saw the same thing 2 or 3 years ago that you're seeing today. We saw Dr. Price's passion and the success that she had building up her small company, her small organization from nothing 20 years ago to what you see today. You know, packs the LA Convention Center every year. So one of the pieces of our collaboration includes the Urban League hosting and managing a career center within the Black College Expo event. So we have a pavilion with companies that are offering internships, with inroads, you know, helping students, you know, work that process through their high school and college careers, with companies that are offering summer jobs and full-time jobs too, so that when kids are actually young people are in the second or third year of college, they know who to speak to get their internship that then leads to a career. So again, we saw an opportunity to partner with Dr. Price and her grassroots organization that had access, unfettered access to these, you know, tens of thousands of young people around the country, and so to amplify both of our efforts to help us both achieve our respective missions.
Right.
So what kind of lessons are you passing down to the juniors who are going to start getting ready to graduate the next year?
You said what kind of what? I'm sorry.
Lessons? I mean, you're going through all this for the kids who are graduating, so I would think there was something that they'd be willing to pass down to the next class that's going to be coming out the following year. Yeah,
well, you know, I'll say this. You know, they say pressure makes diamonds, right? Pressure turns carbon into diamonds, and this year is a bit of a pressure cooker. You know, between all the turmoil at the beginning of the year to COVID hitting in February, March, to then the uprisings, the unrest related to justice for Black people. You know, it's a tough time to be graduating, and so I think their younger peers of the people who are graduating this year, those younger people see, you know, what their older siblings, what their older associates and classmates are going through, and I think it's you know, it's making them tough, making them resilient, but also making them understand that life is a hustle, and they're going to have to put the work in, get the education, and importantly, turn toward, to the extent they can or they have aptitude in that direction, turn their interest toward the STEM disciplines, like Dr. Price said. So I'll give you one quick example. We have a program called Backstage Careers that trains young people to have jobs behind the scenes in film and TV and events. As you all know, TV production for the most part is shut down, right, nationwide. So anything that involved in-person production is on hiatus. But the people who are doing the behind-the-scenes work in animation and visual effects and editing and things like that, their plates are full and overflowing. So we have a partnership example, that's going to be training upwards of 100 students per year from Southern California, many of whom are, who've aged out of foster care or spent some time in prison. Those people are now going to be working in their homes, learning in their homes with a computer that we provide, learning in their homes how to do this visual effects work and editing. And careers are ones that, coming out of the gate, once you're trained, you earn $60,000, $70,000 a year. And people who are experienced in it and do well, are earning upwards of six figures. So we're encouraging people to pivot their educations, their training toward practical things where they can really earn a great living.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that. Michael, do you have any other questions, or do you have anything further to say? I know you're passionate. I'm passionate too.
You know what? I know for me, see, we work K through 12. So our motto is connecting students to college, careers, and beyond. And so we worked in the elementary schools with social, emotional, with helping the students learn STEAM. We have 21 different STEAM curriculums that we teach in schools from K through 12. And we just actually did a phenomenal financial literacy program built around math. And we did it with 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. And I mean, we taught them everything from stocks to everything you could think of dealing with financial literacy. And we got letters from the parents saying, I learned stuff I didn't know.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things we are teaching students at every step. We do a college, and so we do college and career planning, and we do intervention and mentoring. So we also work with student athletes too. We've helped over 878 athletes get athletic scholarships. So our thing is at all times, 11th grade, you're talking about 11th grade, heck, we're going back to elementary because we got to get them ready and get the mindset for helping them with learning how to study. A lot of our students don't know how to study. We just put them on there, take these tests. But did you ever think they don't know how to study? So we may have to teach them that, study habits, how to take notes, just little things like that. So for us, it's every day. Every day we work with students, every single day. And across the country, we do the Black College Expo in like 11 different markets. So we're able to see what's happening in California is the same thing happening in New York, in DC, in Atlanta, in Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, Seattle, we're all over. So it's like we get a chance to see. It's really shocking when you say, wow, the same thing, workforce gap, achievement gap, economic gap, it's happening around the country. The beautiful thing is that we're doing something about it. We're trying to do something. And I'll tell you what warms my heart. This year, every year I get a chance to see these seniors. And Brian will tell you, we probably have over 30 valedictorians and salutatorians that are black students. We have students that the first time in their school's history are valedictorians in the 30-year history of a school. We have kids that are in the top 10 that's never been blacks in the top 10 at schools that's normally every other race. They've never been in the top 10. And those are things I'm seeing. People with 4 point, in Atlanta, they get 100.3s. It's not that they do their system a little different. It's the 90 percentile, whatever. So they got like A+. I'm seeing everything from 4.9, 4.95 to, it's amazing to see these students with 36 on the ACT. You can only get 36. Those are the things that makes us know that we are moving. It's a movement. My whole thing, everything I say, it's a movement, you guys.
Indeed.
It's a movement.
I do have one more question for you, Miss Price. So, my daughter, she's in 10th grade, and she's gearing up to go to college sooner or later. I think she wants to go that route. So what would you say that a student should do to look for a college? Like, what you can't do the traditional college visits now, I guess. I'm not sure how that's going to go with COVID going on. I mean, it won't last forever, but what type of criteria should they look towards in finding a school?
Okay, right. What I would be doing with her right now, first of all, I would start to create a resume. I would start having her do like volunteer work, make sure she records her volunteer work. And volunteer work is not just at the church. It's like if she's teaching a young kids how to do cheerleading, she's taking her time to do some kind of online, maybe in a group of young ladies, maybe she's doing a rap session, she's mentoring. So, or you have daughter or son? I'm sorry.
All girls.
Your daughter or son?
I'm a lady maker. I'm a lady
girl dad.
So anyway, can do virtual visits right now. So most of the colleges have where you could do a virtual visit, and they're all, if they haven't done it, they're doing it now. They're doing virtual visits, and I would do that. I would also, scholarships start in 4th grade. You can get a scholarship in 4th grade. I would start having her look for scholarships. Nordstrom does a scholarship that's $20,000. That's 10th, I think it's 10th or 11th grade. So there's a lot of scholarships. She definitely, you don't want to wait to the last minute and have her write. So she needs to start writing for them now. You know, also what I would do, the virtual school visits, start doing the volunteer, recording that. Anything. They look for scholarships. They look for people who lead, who start something, or who are part of something. So you want to make sure that you're, you know, you might be an athlete, and you might be in the choir, you might be the president of the school, you know, just be well-rounded. If she's an athlete, 10th grade is when you sign up for NCAA clearinghouse. Also, SAT, ACT tests, I think you should start taking in 9th grade. And take both tests, SAT and ACT. I would take them both once a year. You should have taken them 3 or 4 times by the time she's a senior.
Gotcha.
And if I may, I'll just pile on that last point if you have another minute or two. You know, the SAT and ACT standardized tests are not popular. They certainly have some cultural bias embedded in them. So they're not our favorite metric, right? And in fact, many California schools are eliminating the requirement to take the standardized test, you know, in part in result or in response to COVID. But also has been a movement for many years to lessen the importance of the SAT and ACT. But there's a but. If your child, and this is for anybody in the audience, you know, if your child can take and score well on the SAT, it's meaningful. And the reason is that number of Black students who achieve very high scores and get honored by the National Merit Scholarship Corporation is a very small number. So, you know, if your child can get a 1300 on the SAT, a 1400, a 1500, that'll put them in a very, very small group of Black students who are at that level. So put in the time and effort to study those tests starting, as Dr. Price said, when your child's in 9th grade, 10th grade, and importantly in 11th grade, is when they take the PSAT that qualifies students for the National Merit Scholarship Program. So, you know, put effort into studying that test too.
Okay.
But please, I know the schools pay for all 11th graders to take the test, the SAT. Don't wait till 11th grade, please. Every college recruiter I know that I deal, every president, they will tell you, especially HBCUs. I got a kid that is a 7th grader. He took the ACT, got a 26 in the 7th grade. Got a full ride scholarship using that score. So that's why I say take the ACT and the SAT. I have another kid that's trying to get into Harvard. The fact that he took the SAT and scored well makes a difference. If he did, you don't want to be counted out. Let me say this. They might not use the test. That's fine. But don't give a person a reason to count you out. Take both tests, SAT and ACT. That way you have 2 out. Every school in the country takes both tests. Just that California is very, in terms of lobby. I have a partnership with College Board SAT, but they lobby really good here in California. So it's SAT. But I can tell you in Oklahoma, it's the ACT. In Atlanta, it's the ACT. It just depends on where they do the most lobbying. So California is the SAT state, but I tell everybody ACT is just as valuable as the SAT. And you take both tests. Start 9th grade.
Okay.
I will tell you this, my son is half American Indian. He took the PSAT and he got a full year scholarship to Parsons School of Design, which was unheard of. Right. And this was back in the 90s. It was unheard of for an American Indian kid to get something like that. So go for it. You don't really have anything to lose.
No.
Well, and here's a little secret too. I was going to say, here's a little secret.
Give them the game.
All right, so here's the secret. So a lot of people avoid applying to really big name schools, even very talented kids who are, who score, 35 on the SAT and 1500 on the SAT. A lot of kids will still avoid applying to very big name schools because they say, oh, there's no way I can afford that $70,000 ticket, for room and board and tuition. But here's the secret. the schools that are at that highest end are also the most generous with scholarships. So those schools have what they call need-blind admissions. So if you get into the school, if you get into the school, they will give you enough money to attend. So even when I was a kid, I went to a very prestigious school that cost way more than my parents could ever afford to pay. And I literally got into that school, and once I got in, they gave me enough scholarships and grants and work study. I worked during school to the point where me and my parents paid less than $1,000 a year for me to go to an Ivy League school. So
that was cool right there.
Exactly. So, and that's because I scored well on the SAT.
Yeah,
and that put me in a very small category of young Black people. And I didn't go to a fancy school. What's that?
Right. You got a 1601, didn't you? Because that was the years then there was 1600. You got a 1601 though, didn't you?
Actually, I wish, but if you have a young kid who can get a 1300 on the SAT, a Black kid who gets a 1300 or greater on the SAT, they're going to be a small sliver. Every school will want them, and every school will pay.
Perfect on the PSATs. Perfect score. Blew them away. Wasn't expecting it from a copper-skinned kid.
So I got one important thing that we need to talk about. So you all are both in service to the community, but you can't do that alone. So how do people help support you? Like, where do they donate? Like, what keeps you guys going?
Well, right on. Thank you for asking. Dr. Price, you first.
Do we need to do a cheer? Donations.
Hey.
So we need donations. I'm talking for both of us. He can talk again, but you can, any household, as my old mentor, Bill Shear, my old boss used to say to me, he's my man. I don't know if you guys know Bill Shear, who owned KGFJ. You can't have no money coming in. If you don't have no money coming in the back door, you can't put no money out the front door. So we cannot help out the front door if we don't have nothing coming in the back door. You can only help so much. Our kids need help, not just one time. These COVID students, we're helping about 48 COVID students that are either displaced from home, don't have a place to live, living with somebody. We put them in a home. They need money, all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just for the month of March. They need it. They need it. So every month I got to come up with trying to help them with trying to keep, because they just want to finish school. They don't want to be on the county like their parents were, or not being a displaced parent. They want to be involved in the system. So they're trying to feed their brains so they can get their degree. So we need donations, you guys. For us, please go to, you can even see these on the back of me, National NCR Foundation, Black College Expo, to make it easy. You go to Black College Expo, you Google that, everything comes up. We're a nonprofit. We've been around for 21 years. We've helped over 500,000 students get into college. We've personally given away over $1 million in scholarships. We have helped students get over $1 billion in funding to go to college. So we are, I just want to change the world, because I don't like what I see. So instead of sitting on the side gossiping about it and sticking my finger, I'm engaged as a humble servant. What can I do about it? So I'll give it to you, Brian.
Yeah. So in addition to the very important fact that organizations like ours, thrive and survive based on donations from philanthropy, from individuals, small donations, big donations. But the other things that are very important are these. Volunteer. So organizations like ours also, to the extent that we do activities like our Black graduation event on Friday. Those events require, expertise, boots on the ground, supporters, volunteers, and our young people need mentors. We need business plan coaches for our biz camp, for example. So there are ways to volunteer. So that's one thing. The other thing, and I'll throw this out, this is increasingly important. A lot of our young people are, including people who are in community college and four-year schools, especially the ones that are coming out of, graduating out of the foster care system. They come out with virtually no support or very minimal support. And many of those people end up homeless. So there are young people in our program who, when we meet them, they're living in a car. And then we put them in touch with resources, help them get their ducks in a row so they can get temporary and then permanent housing. So to the extent that people have, spare rooms, or they have the ability to offer cheap or discounted, rent for a young person, let an organization like the Urban League know, and we can put, very deserving people, with no safety risk or anything like that into housing. So if you can help with concrete things like that too, all that kind of stuff is particularly important, especially now.
Especially now. Yeah, the need is so great, but the love is so needed.
Yeah, and what I say about this event we're holding on Friday is it really is an expression of adults like us expressing our love and our respect and our support and our protection for these young black adults who are coming out of high school in this very difficult time. So encourage everybody to support that event. Just so you know, you can register on our website at the Urban League. It's www.laul, stands for LA Urban League. So it's www.laul.org. And for the graduation, it's /2020 Black Grad.
Gotcha.
Yes. And we definitely want to thank Sean Robinson. Urban got her to get involved. The TV host. We have Kel Mitchell from Keenan and Kel Goodburger, Dancing with the Stars. Thank him. Bishop Blake, want to thank him. Brian McKnight, Michael Collier, Shaka Khan, Kamala Harris, Crystal Westbrook. It goes on and on.
Dan Jones.
Ashamed with remembering all those names. You know that.
So it's just so it's just so awesome to have them all come in and say, yes, I'll be a part. Yes, I'll do. We're even doing a DJ battle. I know they want to say DJ spotlight. We just wanted to make it fun.
Yeah.
We wanted to make it fun. So we have a person doing a dance number. We have spoken word. We have Tyler Rain from the Rap Game, who won Jermaine Dupri's show on Lifetime. She's gonna perform. So it's it's a very happy, celebratory moment of love, of cultural enrichment, of just awesomeness.
Yeah. And I'll add to that. It's also a time for real talk with these young people. So, it's on the one hand, it's a little glamorous and glitzy with all the celebrities, but at the core of it, it's time to talk about what it's going to take to survive and to change the world that these young people are graduating into. So we're not afraid to talk about Ahmaud. We're not going to be afraid to talk about George Floyd. But we'll also talk about voting and the importance of, now that you're 17, 18 years old, get yourself registered and go out and vote and vote for the kind of changes you want to see in November. And we're going to talk about filling out the census, making sure your families fill out the census form, because that dictates the representation and the funding that we see in our communities. So we're going to have real talk, and it's going to be meaningful.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to wrap this up. We can talk for hours. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yes, we can.
We will have to have you come back on after the event and talk about some of the things, what the high school students are looking forward to and how they plan on doing some of these things, because I'm pretty sure they have their own ideas. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have Brian and Dr. Price once again give you their contact number and where they can find you on the World Wide Web, and then we will wrap it up.
You first, Doc.
Okay, you can find us, Black College Expo, just Google that, or NCR Foundation. You could visit our website, our web social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Black College Expo, NCR Foundation. We have both. We even do the Latino College Expo. We got it. We don't.
That's even
brown and brown.
I'm interested in that, the Latino market. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And again, our organization's website here in Los Angeles is www.laul.org. But also recall, there are about 90 affiliate urban leagues in big cities and small cities around the country. So wherever you are in the country and the world, look up the closest urban league affiliate, see how you can get involved, see how you can volunteer, see how you can donate, and participate in our events and get involved personally. All this kind of work starts at home. So,
indeed.
Thank you all very much for listening. You can watch this video over again on youtube.com/PWR Network/PWR PW Talk Radio on Facebook Live /Lillian Cole 35. It is a PWR network site. Also on https://passionateworldtalkradio.com. Menu on the right-hand side of the menu, Cool Your Heels with Lillian / Michael Herden, and click on it and you should see it. I want to thank all of you for joining us this afternoon. And before you go away, Dr. Johnson had this to say in 1775, all knowledge is of itself of some value. There is nothing so minute or inconsiderable that I would not rather know it than not. Thank you all very much for listening, and please join us again.
We sure will. Thank you, and keep doing what you